Hi, I'm Stevie Fernandez.
And I'm Trish Whitmer. It's great to have you with us as we start this week's Explore Tulsa.
Trish, I couldn't help but notice you don't have a watch on.
Well, I usually just check my phone for the time.
Well, did you know that the earliest wristwatches date back to the 16th century? Primarily, they were made for women. Men, we wore pocket watches.
That they did. Until the 19th century, when men in the military decided that pocket watches weren't practical when trying to do battle on horseback.
Oh yeah, it's way easier in the heat of battle to tell time on horseback while you're wearing a wristwatch, don't you think? Nobody wants to work any overtime on the battleground.
Luckily for most of us, we won't have to go through that experience, and we can just enjoy wearing great watches, like the ones Mark Abel's family has been making for decades at Selco Time.
My grandfather started it in Oklahoma City as, we think, a pawn shop. And it grew from there into jewelry, became publicly traded in probably the 1940s or 1950s. At some point in the 50s, it moved to Tulsa, and my dad started in about 1962. They discovered this division, which is corporate awards and incentives, sometime in the early 60s, and that really became my dad's baby. So in 1980, they sold the jewelry stores to Zales, spun this division off, and we've been doing customized watches and for a long time customized clocks ever since. The jewelry business was always fascinating to me. As a little kid, I would come into my dad's office and sit in his chair, and I thought, I'm going to be president of all these jewelry stores. That's what I wanted to do, and that's what I thought I was going to do. When my dad sold off all the jewelry stores, we were all a little devastated because our big company shrank down to 8 people overnight. But it was kind of neat because I was 10 at the time, and then I really got to watch it grow back up. When I was in college, there were about 60 people here, and I thought, wow, I mean, that's really something, going from 8 people to 60 in about 12 years. So, you know, I was really excited about the opportunity, and that's always what I wanted to do. But one thing I noticed when I came here and worked here in the summers is they didn't really use computers. They didn't know what to do with them. They had them around, but they had almost no PCs, and so I went into MIS because it was or Management Information Systems, because it was a business focus on how to use systems and procedures and to use the computer to get you there. I really felt like they could teach me the marketing here, they could teach me the sales here, they could teach me merchandising, they could teach me what they did to be successful, and then I could teach them that piece of it. The process, it depends on what we're doing to a watch. So it can be as simple as getting a watch, engraving the case back, and putting it in a box and shipping it out, to literally manufacturing a dial from a raw piece of brass, putting digital printing on top of that manufactured dial, assembling it, and then putting it in a box and shipping it out. So it really depends on what the customer wants, but what we're most proud of is over the last year we've brought in this digital printing, which is great technology. What we've been able to do is match our dial manufacturing capabilities, our die striking capabilities, where we can literally raise logos and raise images, along with this digital printing that we can put right around the raised area or even right on top of the raised area. One of our biggest customers is Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad, which is now BNSF. They use them for managers can give them out, people can buy them on their own, but they also have safety awards where the division that's been the safest over the previous year, everybody in that division gets an award, and very often they use watches. Companies big, companies small, we do a lot of sports. Bowl games is a huge thing for us. Conference championships, so all sorts of things. Last year, 2012, we did Liberty Bowl watches, so everybody who played for Tulsa got a Liberty Bowl watch made here in Tulsa. really pretty exciting to be third generation and having this dream all your life and surviving for a while. You always look at multi-generation companies, and third generation's a tough one to get through. You know, it's an accomplishment. I feel good about it. And what's really exciting is that we continue to evolve. We're not the company that I came into 20 years ago, and we've got ideas that we think are going to carry us into the future. So, you know, I've got a 15-year-old daughter and a 12-year-old, 13-year-old son, and if they're excited about it and they have that passion, then I hope it's here for them. You know, fourth generation would be an amazing accomplishment.